Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. We are at the corner of Bathurst and St. Clair, and we are walking northbound on the east side of Bathurst. The plan for today, I'm going to do 3 episodes walking along Bathurst. So St. Clair to Eglinton, Eglinton to Lawrence, and then Lawrence to Wilson. So what I did today was I parked my car at the Loblaws. You can just see in the distance, I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up. So I drove there from home for 2 reasons. I didn't want to walk from home to the start point and then walk up to Wilson and then get groceries. So I thought, well, I'll just park my car at Loblaws, record up to Wilson, then walk back to Loblaws, do my groceries, and go home. So that was sort of the better idea, because if I didn't drive my car, it would be limiting the amount of groceries I could take home. So carrying groceries, as you know, can be a heavy endeavor. We're at St. Michael's College School. The camera's not going to pick it up, but in the distance, so south on Bathurst, in the distance, there's a whole pile of cranes in the sky. So there looks like there's a lot of construction being built. Probably, I guess, where would that be? That could be as far as Bloor, I bet. So I last week published sort of the same idea as today. Did 4 episodes going up Yonge Street. And now I'm going to do 3 episodes going up Bathurst. When I first moved to Toronto, I was staying with a friend who lived in the Casaloma area. And then I moved to the location that I stayed at for about 6 weeks, up near Steeles. And I remember her telling me to go up Bathurst, and I did quite a way up Bathurst before I skirted over to Yonge and continued north on Yonge to get to the location of the place that I'll be staying at for about the next 6 weeks. And for some reason, Bathurst really stuck in my mind. Maybe because it was probably the first street I actually drove on when I moved to Toronto. I was nervous driving in a new city, and back in those days we used paper maps, if you remember, and I remember mapping out how to get there, and Bathurst really stuck in my mind. And I remember thinking how old all these buildings looked. Coming from Calgary, there was only a couple of parts or districts, neighborhoods in Calgary that were older, that might have looked sort of like these buildings here, for example, but few, or at least not any of the neighborhoods that I frequented. And so I just remember thinking how old everything looked. And again, you know, everything looked different because it was a new city, and it was when I left to go to relocate to my next temporary spot before I got my residence on Broadway. It was the end of February, I guess, and you know, it's pretty gray, as you know, in Toronto. January, February, in the winter it's gray, particularly January, February. However, today it is blue skies. I'm going to point the camera up Blue skies, it's sunny. This is again like a Calgary day. Calgary, it can be minus 40. And look as beautiful as this, blue skies and sunny. It's about minus 3 when I left home, but there is definitely a wind chill. So back in the spring, yeah, it was the spring, I did a walk down Claxton Boulevard, so just beyond those gates there across the street. It's a really nice area in there, really nice. And the other thing I noticed when I first moved to Toronto, I can't remember if I traveled to my next location, like to the Steeles location on a week or a weekday, but I do remember like all the roads seem so busy. It seems so busy. So many cars, so much traffic. And you know, Toronto is probably the busiest city in Canada, so as far as vehicle traffic, I would suspect. So coming from Calgary 30 years ago, you really notice the difference. At least I did. I noticed a difference certainly in architecture, even the smell of the city, the busyness of the city. I loved every second of it. A little overwhelming at the beginning, but it was exciting. It was just an exciting endeavor. I couldn't wait. So happy to be in Toronto. I left home around, I think, 1:30ish. So it's probably maybe around 2 or after 2 right now. I should try and count how many notices I come across. Notice for a new site. I should count how many I come across even on one walk. So this is the second one I've seen in a matter of what, 5 minutes? So this building is going to be coming down. So yesterday, we didn't have anything planned. David and I, we just stayed at home, but we did have an errand to do, and we decided we were going to do it on foot. And it was a cold one yesterday, if you remember. I think it was minus, what, 18 or... Yeah, I think it was like minus 18. And, I mean, we dressed really well, of course, but... Geez. It was a cold one. So we went and did our errand, but part of the plan was to not just do our errand, but while we were out, do a little bit of a walk as well. So we're probably out in total for an hour, but it was nice getting back home and indoors. When I walk, when it's really cold like that, for any length of time, normally what I do as well is I also wear a face mask, and not the type of face masks that we're all wearing now because of the pandemic. but an actual like ski face mask. And what it does is it covers from the bridge of my nose down to the like bottom of my chin, and it's warm. It's really warm. But when I take it off, there's all this condensation from my breathing. There's these little pinholes around the nostril area for breathing purposes. But it's funny because when I take it off, as soon as I get indoors, it's all frosted around the nasal area. It's funny to look at. I'm funny to look at wearing that thing. I sort of look a little bit like, if you remember the movie, Halloween, with the mask. Michael Myers wearing that mask. I kind of look like that, except my mask is black. But it has that ominous look about it. But when it's minus 21, you don't worry about appearance. It's all about staying warm. So tomorrow I have a long excursion. I won't be recording, but it'll be about an hour and a half walk. Tomorrow being Monday, and I think it's supposed to be cold tomorrow. So I will probably take out that Michael Myers mask-ish looking winter paraphernalia. Oh dear. There's a crash here. Yikes. Oh, there's the police officer. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Hope no one was hurt. I think those might be the fellows over there. Yeah, everybody looks okay. I wonder what that was all about. Well, that's a bummer. What a way to ruin your day, hey, when getting into an auto accident. I'm distracted. Sorry folks, if I was in the middle of talking about something, I apologize. It has totally slipped my mind. I'm just thinking about the auto accident and how unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. The last time I walked this route of Bathurst, on Bathurst. I've walked parts of Bathurst. Further south, more like south of St. Clair. And I did that probably in the spring. Because when I go to, there's a Walmart on, is it Bloor and Dufferin, or where is it? Bloor and Dufferin maybe, or like south of Bloor, off of on Dufferin. I think that's the location. It's around that area anyhow. So I do go there maybe once or twice a year, and I usually walk there. So part of the journey takes me down Bathurst, and then I zigzag my way through. But I haven't walked north on Bathurst, gosh. I don't know the last time I've walked north. So it feels good to be here again. It just feels good. I've been wanting to walk this route for a while.
It's definitely like this leadership thing.
Last night for dinner we had burritos, and I've never really had burritos until probably 6 months ago. There's a place on Yonge Street, south of Eglinton, north of Davisville on the east side. I think it's called Churreros. I think that's what it's called. It's CH, not sure. It's just a little kind of hole in the wall, super tiny. I don't know if ever, I don't know if there's seating inside, because we just kind of call in the order and then pick it up. And last summer I remember going there, David and I going there and just waiting outside and getting the order. So I'm not sure if they actually have seating inside, because never discovered burritos. At least I haven't until like 6 months ago or whatever. Anyhow, this place is so yummy. The burritos are yummy. I think they're about $10, or David's I think is more expensive because he orders his with like a meat, and I order vegetarian but with guacamole. Oh my goodness. And the guacamole is right in the mixture, the burrito mixture. It is so delicious. Can't eat a whole one in one sitting under normal circumstances. So I usually have it and have half, and then have the other half another time. But it's yummy. It's really good. And we sort of, I think how we discovered that is during the pandemic, when we did order out, we wanted to order out to support our neighborhood food resources, our restaurants, the restaurants in our neighborhood, and that burrito spot is in our neighborhood. I don't know if I would have ever tried that before the pandemic. I mentioned this before, I have a rather unsophisticated palate, so and maybe to some a burrito is not necessarily a stretch, but it's just not something I've ever tried, and as I get older I find I'm less likely to try new foods. But that was a win. Another super yummy restaurant, like minutes from our door, is it's an Indonesian Dutch combo type restaurant. It's called Little Sister. It is so delicious. And I can't remember how long they've been there. Maybe it'd be more than 5 years they've been there. It is so good, and they do really good business. And like before the pandemic, they were always filled. The restaurant was always filled up, and the atmosphere inside it's got a cool vibe. It is a bit noisy. And they have outdoor dining as well. In the summer. Yeah, it's yummy. It's really good. And I was reluctant to try that food, and I think this was a good day when I decided to try it. Threw caution to the wind, and I just thought, oh my goodness, I'm so glad to have tried this. I'm glad I went beyond my comfort zone. Speaking of food, it reminds me of another, I laugh at it today. It's kind of one of those eye roll moments. Years ago, I was in high school and I was dating a really sweet guy and went over to his parents for dinner. And of course I'm Italian, both parents, and you know, I was raised Italian, and the food that I ate was a largely Italian diet, Mediterranean diet, and so they are not Italian. And so sitting at the table, and a family member said to me, asked me a question. So there was this, you know, parents and I think siblings, and anyway, and one of the family members asked me, in all seriousness, do you eat normal food? I remember being confused by the question. And I remember my automatic response was, I mean, because it was a true response, yes, because eating the way I ate was normal. And I'll never forget that, because people at the table gasped when I was asked that question. They gasped. And I couldn't figure out, well, first of all, I was confused by the question. Didn't know anything about racism. I mean, we've never talked about it. It just never was a topic of conversation in school or amongst friends or at home. And that was, you know, certainly a racist comment. But didn't dawn on me. I remember feeling awkward and confused, but I didn't feel offended. I just, not at that moment, but I remember feeling uncomfortable. So I guess maybe that is a form of feeling offended, I suspect. Now it's telling me I need to, can I cross up here? Sorry folks, I'm being distracted because I want to make sure I can walk up here. I should be able to. Oh yeah, no problem. I can walk up here. Anyway, so yeah, so is that not like the craziest thing? That is the craziest thing. And there was, it reminded me of another comment that I think was a racist comment, or certainly on the verge of that. So I have very curly hair, and when I was younger, and I was working in the HR department of this particular company, and my boss, the person who made the comment, he was the HR VP. Yeah, this is probably 1994. And he said to me, because I had this long, very curly, dark hair, and he made a comment and he said, "It's like you stuck your finger in a light socket." Anyway, on that rather solemn note, I apologize, but I look at it now and I have to laugh because, yeah, there's no other way to look at it at this point. It's been so long, but I certainly moved past that. Anyhow, folks, this is the conclusion of episode 1, going up Bathurst. we'll be picking up across the street in my next video. This is Boomer Girl Walking, signing off.